The inspiration you've been taught to chase as an external force is actually the suppressed voice of your own longing. And true artistry requires not waiting for the muse to strike, but becoming the vessel that honors the grief you've mistaken for creative block. In The Muse, Jewel E. Ann delivers a contemporary romance that transforms the tortured artist trope into a searing exploration of feminine reclamation and embodied creativity, proving that in lives defined by performance, liberation isn't found in perfection. It's forged in the radical act of creating from the wound when culture demands you sanitize it. This isn't merely another angsty tale with poetic prose. It's a psychologically precise narrative where every brushstroke feels like both confession and defiance. Consent to create is negotiated through self-trust rather than assumed validation, and love means honoring the woman beneath the masterpiece when the world demands she remain invisible. From the first turpentine-scented narration, listeners are immersed in a world where color is language and presence is the only true medium. Perfect for fans of emotionally intelligent women's fiction and stories where female agency defies romanticized suffering. This audiobook serves up atmospheric ache, relentless emotional honesty, and protagonists whose journey from blocked artist to sovereign creator resonates with anyone who's ever been told their pain was too messy for public consumption. When painter Alara Vance retreats to a lakeside cabin after a devastating career setback, she expects solitary healing. Not to discover the reclusive writer Julian Thorne renting the adjacent property carries wounds that mirror her own suppressed grief, and his quiet observation bypasses her defenses to create space for a connection that defies her post-failure rules. But as they navigate shared shorelines and buried attractions, Alara realizes this proximity isn't about distraction, it's about integration. Anne masterfully avoids reducing Alara to tragic genius or Julian to brooding savior. Instead, she crafts a relationship rooted in radical reciprocity within constraint, where trust is earned through honoring boundaries even as desire blurs them, and where intimacy emerges from seeing each other beyond assigned roles. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional alchemy, capturing Alara's disciplined composure fracturing into genuine receptivity, and Julian's guarded intensity revealing warmth beneath stoic indolence. You don't just hear their bond deepen, you feel the seismic shift of two souls learning that some art can only be made when you stop performing for an audience. What elevates The Muse beyond typical artist romance fare is its nuanced portrayal of creativity as somatic practice rather than abstract inspiration. Alara isn't merely overcoming block, she's confronting how art world culture taught her to equate worth with productivity, challenging the notion that safety requires emotional erasure. Julian doesn't unlock her through charm, he creates sanctuary where her contradictions can exist without judgment, honoring her autonomy even as his own walls crumble. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during dawn walks that bypass performance, establishing rhythms that protect both creative integrity and emotional safety, and defending each other from critics who mistake evolution for indulgence. Supporting characters add vital texture, fellow artists whose loyalty encodes suppressed grief, locals whose discretion carries intergenerational weight, even the lake itself, rendered as living archive whose waters absorb decades of unspoken bargains. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In economies built on extraction, tenderness is technique, and presence is the only sustainable resource. Even the romance mechanics serve thematic depth, with shared landscapes mirroring emotional attunement and seasonal cycles becoming metaphors for earned renewal. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into creative intimacy. The narrator embodies Alara and Julian with remarkable distinction. Alara's voice carries weathered intelligence laced with dawning sovereignty, while Julian's low timbre trembles with suppressed tenderness beneath disciplined cadence, making their chemistry palpable even during quiet exchanges. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion. Distant water lapping marking temporal rhythm, rain against studio windows during vulnerable confessions, the hushed scratch of charcoal syncing with breath during moments of clarity, all anchor emotional stakes in sensory reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of artistic recovery, deliberate during reflection and foundational bonding, then surging with urgency as external pressures collide with internal breakthroughs. Whether you're commuting through urban chaos or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and embodiment feels lifeline. It's storytelling as somatic validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a love story that honors both duty and desire. Ultimately, The Muse redefines contemporary romance by centering female epistemology within creative frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for satisfying chemistry and hopeful resolution while delivering substantive commentary on artistic trauma, masculine vulnerability, and the radical act of building partnerships based on mutual recognition rather than rescue. Prior series knowledge enriches context, but this volume stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether love can coexist with brokenness, or if true strength requires embracing what others dismiss, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful act is simply allowing yourself to create. Press play, pick up the brush, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by loss, hearts still find ways to paint. Your next favorite romance isn't waiting in perfect masterpieces. It's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to honor the mess.